Good evening. My name is Bill Rice, and I'm the Sheriff of La Paz County. I've been married for 49 years, and I have 40 years of law enforcement experience, and I've worked all caseloads, anywhere from homicides, crimes against persons, crimes against property, etc., crimes against children. I also worked at the crisis shelter for 8 years, and in fact, today I got a phone call from our county telling me that we had a domestic violence victim that needed assistance, and they requested me to come over and assist them. I have found locations for victims of fires to live. I would get calls from deputies before I became the sheriff that they needed a home for a fire victim in Baus, and I would find a place for them to live. I helped bring the county out of debt by bringing in $4 million over 2 years to the county when I brought federal prisoners back to my jail. To save money, I purchased used cars. And also, we are currently kind of on a standstill right now, but we are currently negotiating with the Department of Corrections to bring state prison inmates to La Paz County. That's a multi-million-dollar contract. I am president of the Arizona County Attorneys Association, Sheriff's Association. And I also obtained a grant from the Attorney General's office. And today they sent me this. On behalf of the Attorney General, Brnovich, we are pleased to inform you that the police officer safety equipment that you requested purchase with the funding from the Attorney General's office will be approved. It is our intent that you will receive your requested funding for your approved request within the coming weeks. So we'll be receiving $25,000 additional to supplement the Sheriff's Department. Those items that we have changed or improved upon, the older items we have donated back so we could utilize them because they had a shortage of units, some units, and they also did not have unit computers, and we sent them our old unit computers. I'm also a member of the Governor's Office of Opioid Review Team for Deaf, and I've been doing that for over a year. Part of my job as the Sheriff of La Paz County is to take care of the people, not just put people in jail, but to actually take care of them. We have a program called Aid to the Elderly. I received a call 2 days ago from Darla Tilley, who runs the senior center in Parker. She said she had an individual, a male, whose air conditioning had stopped and he couldn't get it repaired. We immediately assigned personnel. We bought him a new air conditioner and we installed it in his house. All they could say is, how can you do it in one day? I can't believe that I actually have air conditioning in this heat. We also take care of the boat parade because the county, I can't think of the word I want to use, the Chamber of Commerce was unable to provide insurance for it. And because I'm the president of the Lions Club, we were able to get a $2 million liability policy. We've also taken over the Take a Kid fishing program, Christmas for the troops, where we provide items to go to the troops during Christmas. We have also become very close to the Colorado River Regional Crisis Shelter, and in fact, one of my deputies sits on the board of directors for it. We have the Kids Christmas, where we provide Christmas presents to parents to give to their children at Christmas time. The Elder Christmas Tree, where those that are on Meals on Wheels give us a list of items that they wish to get. And again, like I said, on those things, we were expecting some outlandish items, and what we got was toothpaste, combs, deodorant, normal everyday items. Our question was, if they need that now for Christmas, what do they do the rest of the year? So we've increased, and we buy cases of items for our elderly. I am also a mentor for the Veterans Court of La Paz County. I'm the only mentor at this time. I was picked to help set up the court because I was the only one that had no conflict of interest in doing it. So I worked with the court system, the county attorney's office, and some other entities like the Supreme Court of Arizona. I am a veteran of the U.S. Army, and I work with vets that are in need, especially in Quartzsite. Some of you might know the Gunny. We work very close together as far as supplying the vets with what they need. I have more employees than any other department within the county of La Paz. I have roughly 100 of them. We're always working with them when they have a need. About a year ago, I had a deputy whose grandfather was very sick and going to pass away. I ended up providing him a loan until he could get payback on some time that was owed him so he could go and be with his grandfather. He actually got there that night, spent the night with his grandfather, and his grandfather passed away the next morning. I have another situation right now where I have a deputy that requested funds because his grandfather just passed away and he had to take care of the cremation and travel arrangements and everything else. So again, we work hard for our employees to make sure we provide what they need. I'm also responsible for the Special Response Team, which is the SWAT team of La Paz County. We now have Parker Police Department as one of the members of the SWAT team. I roll out on all SWAT team responses, and my deputies come to me with their solution and run it by me, and I say yea or nay as to how we handle the situation. I also have the dive team, the search and rescue team, which is very busy during the summer season, air support, mounted patrol. We also handle the sex registrants for the county of La Paz. The Explorers, we are teaming up with the Parker Police Department to have a dual system so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have the reserve program, and we have off-road vehicle that didn't cost the county anything. We traded in one of the boats that we have, and we actually are working on how we're going to handle the Peace Trail that's going to be going through La Paz County. In the last couple of years, we spent a lot of time in the Ehrenberg area. We had a little girl that was murdered. I had a detective that was assigned down here for almost a year. We went to trial. The suspect was found guilty and is now serving life in prison. We have a saying at the Sheriff's Department: we don't do it the easy way, we do it the right way. And that is our motto. We don't care what's easy, we do what's right. I am Bill Risen. I'm running for Sheriff of La Paz County, and I'd appreciate your vote.
Can you hear me? I guess it depends on the way you hold. My name is Frank Pedrine.
No, I can't hear you.
Huh?
No, you're gonna hold it
You
up.
gotta swallow it.
Like an ice cream cone.
Can you hear me now?
No?
Nobody likes girls. Wait a second. Oh, okay. Try this one.
How about now?
Oh, yeah.
Again, my name is Frank Pedrine. I'm a homegrown, bred and fed Parkerite, born and raised. I joined the Army after high school, played 22 years of soldier, infantry. I was a drill sergeant for almost 10 years before I instructed selected NCOs and sergeants to be trained as drill sergeants. And I did a lot of the training, not only just basic training. My platform for the LaPage County Sheriff's Department, did I say I spent 26 years with the LaPage County Sheriff's Department? Hello? 26 years with the LaPage County Sheriff's Department, retired 31st of December 2016. 26 years. Hello? You hear it?
So.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My platform is communications. Without communications, you have nothing. But along with communications, you got to display an attitude. If you display a poor or an aggressive attitude, you're going to lose contact with that subject. Communications bring on trust, brings on friendship, and you get information with communication. You don't have to be a nasty gram cop. Thank you. You don't have to be a nasty gram cop to try to get information from somebody. If I had strike up a friendship with you after several times that you see me patrolling through your residential area or in your business, pretty soon you're going to trust me enough to where you can say, you know what? You know that guy over there, Mike Ross? You might want to check him out. And then later on down the road, you hear about, you know that girl, Sharon Schuler? You know what she's doing? And so with communication, I don't have to say who said. I can go and ask Mike Ross, hey, what do you know about Sharon Schuler? Oh, man, let me tell you. So with good communications with the personnel, you find out who you need to go look for. Contact the task force, and hopefully make it in a bus or arrest or whatever. But the only way that you can do that is to patrol through the residential areas and in the businesses. Now, 6 months after I retired, I've met so many people. And in stores in Parker, restaurants in Parker, my phone number, because I gave my phone number, I think just about everybody. They would contact me and say, we haven't seen a cop since you retired. But when I was on duty, time permitted, I went through every nook, cranny, road, alley, every town, every RV park in my district. And I met a whole lot of people. Businesses. You go in and talk to the people that own the business, ask them how everything's going, and then communication, they'll start telling you, this guy does that. You know that girl, Amy? Yep, I'm going to watch her. So, I understand where the sheriff is coming from, but like I said, for 26 years, I was out on the roads, I was down here. Now that was it, I can't remember the name. But riots down at Dillard's Island, chicken ranch down here, had fights down there. So I knew a whole lot of folks. Training. According to the sheriff, he said that we've got best radio, best computers. So at a very low cost, if any cost at all, the officers should be able to do training while on duty. Pull off the side of the road. I'm not against giving citations. Pull off the side of the road, turn the radar on, sit there and read a couple of questions that the sergeants, lieutenants have given you. These are questions that are not a pass or fail. I want to know, what did you know? When I went to the academy a long time ago, they used to call me what if, because I would ask, well, what if this was to happen? What if this was to happen? What if this is going to happen? Well, you don't know. But it makes you start thinking, or it should make you start thinking, how many different things can happen going from point A to point B on the call? The sheriff said that he has provided cars. That's good. Equipment. That's good. And that they have all these different things. Well, they had those things when I was a cop. So he hadn't incurred anything other than maybe joining county and sheriff administration, which does nothing for the cop. So what he has failed to do is provide traffic through the residential areas, time permitted. There's been times where I got as far as the house and spent 12 hours. Never got out of the city. But time does happen. Things do happen. Training. I want to revitalize the reserve program. When I joined up, my first 6 months was reserve. March of 1989. I was a reserve officer. We had more reserve officers than we had on-duty officers. We had a posse. I was one of the first officers to be with the VIPs, which is down to, what, 3? Search and rescue. The only one I know is on search and rescue was Mrs. Gilbert. Task force. When I was with the task force, we had PPS, Quartzsite, Parker, Sheriff's Department. Could never get Crit to come on board. In my unofficial duties, I officiate all high school sports, all major high school sports, football, basketball, baseball, softball. And I've coached Little League for the last 42 years. So, my name is Frank Pedrini. I want to get the people, the officers back in your residential areas, drive by so where you know who they are and they know who you are. And I'm going to give the officers 4 months to be able to tell me every proprietor that owns a business. I want to know your first and last name, because that's what I did. And I knew everybody. I'm not going to remember everybody, but that's not the point. When they walk up to you and they say, "Hi, Mike," you can say, "Hey, bud, how you doing?" And that will happen under my watch as your new sheriff. Frank Pedrini. Thank you very much.
I have to say I agree with a lot of what Frank was saying about meeting and greeting the community, getting to know the individual business owners, and getting out there and being an integral part of the community. My name is Mike Roth. I'm running for sheriff of Hawes County because I believe the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is very, very important, and we have been ignoring it. I would like to offer everybody who's watching this a free pocket constitution. Just call me, email me. This pocket constitution includes the Declaration of Independence and the actual Constitution itself and the Bill of Rights. All of those are very, very important to understand why America was the greatest country that was ever made or thought of, and we've walked away from that. You know, we can talk about timelines, but we have gotten completely away from the Constitution and the Bill of Rights in our country, and I want to bring that back, especially in law enforcement. And I am going to hire strict constitutionalists to be a part of my administration. When you win an election, you have to take an oath of office. And that oath is to defend and protect the Constitution of the United States. All too often, people that win elections, you know, they raise their right hand, they swear an oath to the Constitution, and it really is just a formality to get the paycheck rolling. That won't be the situation with me at all. I take the Constitution and the Bill of Rights very, very seriously. More serious than any of my opponents. And I'd like to say you can't have it both ways. You can't win an election and say you're a constitutionalist and do unconstitutional things. You just can't. That makes you a hypocrite and un-American in my book. And when I raise my right hand, my word is bond. I'm going to raise my right hand to God and community. And I'm going to honor my oath to the Constitution and to the people that elected me. So, real quick, I just want to touch on a couple things. I have a flyer. Here's my table. I have a flyer that kind of outlines the big picture. I also have on my Facebook page, rothforsheriff.com, rothforsheriff.com on my Facebook page, I have all the Meet the Candidate events that I've attended. I've attended all of them, unlike others. And I want to just touch on some of the big picture things, and I'll talk about short-term things. As your sheriff, we're no longer going to be doing policing for revenue. It's a big thing with law enforcement nowadays, go out there and get that money from the travelers and stuff. I believe you have rights, and I believe that your rights should be followed and honored. I'm going to end nepotism and cronyism. I hate to say it, and a lot of people know it, but there's a lot of that in this department and has been forever. Reasonable enforcement. Frank alluded this to the last Meet the Candidate event. Not everybody deserves a ticket. I believe that there has to be a real victim, there has to be a real crime, and I want to bring back the warning ticket. I also don't want to clog up the courts with these small possession felony drug crimes, like small possession of marijuana type crimes. All that does is enriches the local lawyers, the courts, and the private prison industry complex. I'm also going to increase officer accountability. Again, Frank, I want to get back to you. You talk about these tests you want to give officers, and you say no pass or fail. I want them to pass or fail these exams. And I think all law enforcement should have to at least pass the United States citizenship exam. And I don't believe a lot of them can. Maybe some, but from what I've seen from all the constitutional violations I've lived under from local law enforcement and county enforcement, I don't think you can. I think you have to at least be able to pass the citizenship exam. So start cramming now, guys. Anyway, more transparency. I'm going to do a weekly what your sheriff has been doing, what your sheriff's department has been doing. This past week, I'm going to put it on a local website, not a Facebook, be on a website, it won't be on local media. It will be a source that you can go to without any manipulations. Also, guaranteed Second Amendment rights. Right now, there's a big discussion in the United States about guns and what we can and can't do with guns. I'm a strong proponent of the Second Amendment. I've had my Second Amendment rights taken from me, violated, and I don't think it's fun or cute or even, a great little legal tactic or ploy. As your sheriff, your gun rights will remain intact completely. I'm going to promote education over enforcement. Again, not everyone deserves a ticket. I believe in the warning ticket, and I think that builds trust and rapport with the people within the community to say, hey, slow down. Hey, put your seatbelt on. Not everybody deserves a $100 ticket or what have you. Our current sheriff has actually gone on record online saying that a 1 mile an hour over infraction is worthy of a ticket. I think that's bullshit. Excuse my language. Constitution-based law, no more unconstitutional checkpoints, sears, or searches. That's all things for a video in itself, which will be on my website. I'll talk about that in a moment. I'll build stronger community relations. I will deputize volunteers. We have so few officers patrolling such a huge area that you cannot depend on law enforcement to be there when you need them. Sometimes it will take a while, sometimes they never show. I've heard horror stories since I've run. If we have citizens, individuals within the community trained on understanding of the laws, which can and can't do, we need those people out there. I will get the community involved more than you've ever seen it. And I will also be the most affordable sheriff in La Paz County history. I know everyone cries poor boy when it comes to the budget, but what I know about government is there's a lot of waste, a lot of fraud, and a lot of abuse. And I will look at all areas of the budget, and there will be no sacred cows. Things will be cut, things will be eliminated, and other things will be focused upon. Those other things are things that work. So, in closing, I would just like you to go to rothforsheriff.com, rothforsheriff.com. All these events have been posted or will be posted on there soon. And there'll be more stuff. We have a primary August 4th. After August 4th, it's going to be me versus the winner of the primary versus the Democrat, Felipe Rodriguez, who has not shown up for a single Meet the Candidate event. And I would also like to say, hey, where's William Ponce? We've had 3 events, and he hasn't shown up for 2 of them in Quartzsite. He hasn't earned any votes either. So my name is Mike Roth. I'm your next sheriff of La Paz County. You're going to love freedom and liberty, and I will have an open door policy. You'll be able to reach out to me at any time, and we're gonna get rid of the good old white club in La Paz County. Thank you very much.